Hi friends, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Much like last year, I am back this year to talk about Sock Week 2025. I'm recording this on Sunday, July 20th, which is the first day of Sock Week. So what I'm planning to do is similar to 2024 Sock Week, is do a little bit of vlogging every day to track my progress, give you some insight into the different events that are going on, and overall just see how I do this year compared to last year. If you are not aware of what Sock Week is, it is an event hosted by Natalie of Knitty Natty every summer. And every summer we take a week and make at least one sock. So it's really good for people who have never made socks before or want to challenge themselves in making socks if you're a little more experienced. But overall, it's just a really fun way to get people together for this relatively free and fun event. This year's Sock Week theme is ice cream. And what that means is that while Sock Week is free to participate in, there are a number of yarn, pattern, charm, accessories, sponsors that have exclusive items that you can buy for throughout Sock Week. And if you use any of those items, a lot of times you'll get extra points to win prizes at the end. So of course I dove into some of those this year. So let's talk about what I will be using to knit my socks. The first thing that I immediately purchased for Sock Week was this exclusive Love and Stitches yarn cup. If you're not aware, Love and Stitches is Knitty Natty's membership, and it has this exclusive Love and Stitches embroidery on the handle. So if you were a member, you got like an exclusive email to go and buy this yarn cup from the Wandering Pearl. And it is, of course, ice cream themed, but it's ice cream cones with flowers. So it's really cute. I've never had a yarn cup before. And the way that it works is you keep your cake in here, and then you can pull this, and it keeps your cake nice and secure and clean. And so you can take it on the road with you while you're traveling, and then you have your cute little handle with your exclusive embroidery for Love and Stitches membership. And I fell in love with it immediately and knew I had to have it. So that was the first thing that I bought. It was the first thing, I believe it was the first thing that released for this year's Sock Week. Then I got some of the exclusive yarn. If you watched my yarn winder review, which at this point there will be other parts to that while I experiment with other Swifts and things, I got the Super Glow yarn exclusive colorway for Sock Week this year. I got the Sparkle sock set, and it's called Sock Week 2025 Unicorn Sparkle, which is based on an ice cream that I've been begging Scott to dig around for because I absolutely need it. If you look at app, it looks exactly like this yarn, or I guess the yarn looks exactly like it. But this is the mini skein, and this is one of my favorite purples in the world. I absolutely love it, where it's like a hint of pink in there, and it's just a very bright, beautiful purple. So that's the mini. This is what I'm going to be using for the cuffs and the toe. And then for the rest of the sock, including heels, this is the main cake, which is super, super beautiful. I was debating if I wanted to do a special pattern to show this off, but I think I'm just going to let the yarn speak for itself and do a basic stockinette sock so that I can just knit in the round and pace myself and not get hindered by needing to reference a pattern and double check things, etc. So we're going to be moving and grooving on this, and I'm really excited about it. So that is the yarn. Again, if you want to see what this looked like in the hank before I wound it, then make sure to check out my Kato Ekoke Yarn Winder Pro review, because it was interesting to say the least. And then the final supply that I will be using are these charms from the Littlest Charm Co. And I didn't buy these when they were first released, and I had regrets. They sold out really fast because I bought the yarn as soon as it launched, and then I went back later to check the charms because I decided that I wanted them, and they were gone. So she did do a pre-order, and they got here, I want to say last week. so just in time. But they are these adorable little progress keepers. So first you have a cookie sandwich that will not focus, because why would technology work with me? So it's really cute. It's a Neapolitan cookie sandwich, which we actually have some of these in our freezer right now, and they're delicious as always. And then the other one, the one that I absolutely needed, was this little ice cream cone narwhal, where the narwhal's horn is an ice cream cone. And he's made out of mint chocolate chip ice cream, which is disgusting. And I hate that ice cream. I worked in an ice cream shop for several summers, and this was maybe my least favorite. So I have these little progress keepers that I will be using as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I could have cast on any time today, but I decided to wait until the cast on party, which is starting in like 5 minutes. So with that, I'm gonna go get all of my stuff set up, my little knitting area for the day. I think we're gonna go out for a late lunch / early dinner later today at a brewery down the street. So I wanna get this started so I can take it with us. And overall, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this week goes. Last year, I think I made 2.5 socks throughout the week. So my goal is to at least finish a pair and get myself entered for that. We'll see how it goes, because work is being incredibly demanding on my time right now, and I need to set some boundaries, and I know that. See how it plays out.
What is a make along without a cast on party? And that is exactly how we kicked off Sock Week. You could, of course, cast on at any point during the day, as long as it was the 20th. So as long as you cast on at any point on the 20th, it qualified. But I chose to wait until the cast on party for a number of reasons, namely that we had just returned from an unexpected visit from my parents, but also there is something to be said about doing the same thing at the same time as other people. So I really wanted to wait, and I'm glad that I did. The cast on party was a lot of fun and really got me going. In typical Jen and Scott fashion, we decided to spend a part of our Sunday at a local brewery. They have really good pizza at this place, and really good beer too, but we went for lunch to grab some pizza, and I brought my knitting along with me and made some decent progress. At least I thought so. It is now Monday, July 21st, and I am getting ready to start on my sock for the day. So here's the progress I was able to make yesterday. As you can see, I got to part of the heel flap, which is exciting. And of course, this is where I started. I cast on yesterday. So I'll be moving my little stitch marker, progress keeper, to the heel so we can track how much I get done today. My goal is to finish the foot and toe. We'll see how much that happens. I'm not super confident because today is a busy work day, but yeah, it just goes to show how much you can get done when you're not distributing your focus between 5 different projects, I suppose. They are really happy with what I was able to get done yesterday. I probably could have gotten done more, but there is a lot going on. But here we are. All right, so I've now started my work day, and before I did, I wanted to show you that I finished my heel flap and turn. So I'm about to start on the gusset stitches. Do have some work that I need to take care of and a load of meetings. So we'll see how that goes. But I think because I am just doing a plain stockinette sock, it's the type of thing that I could probably knit under my desk. The issue being that I am leading most of the meetings, so probably not. But anyway, I think it is coming out great. This is as much as I was able to get done in about an hour with distractions. I took a break to take care of just some stuff to schedule my car inspection and things like that, and going back and forth with Scott about stuff with my mom. So yeah, all things considered, not terrible for an hour, and onward and upward. All right, well, here we are on day 3. It is Tuesday, and I fell asleep at 7:30 last night. Between just work and not sleeping well as a result of that and being worried about my mom, I've been getting like, I don't know, maybe 4 solid hours of sleep every night. So last night it took its toll and I passed out. So I had originally wanted to get to the toe on this yesterday. And as you can see, I'm not terribly far. But for day 2, I got from the heel flap to the heel turn to about halfway through the foot. So my goal is to finish that up today. I doubt I'll be able to start a second sock because we do have a concert that we're going to tonight. We're going to see the Decemberists. So that should be fun. And I'm probably going to fall asleep halfway through that. But yeah, I thought I would be further along by now, but this is totally fine. The goal for the event is to complete a sock in a week, and I will do that. My personal goal is to complete 2, and I still think I will do that. But we'll see how that goes. Gonna have some breakfast and knit on this a little bit before work.
One turn, 120. Let's go, come on.
Your grip light and your face high. Halfway there.
It is now 4:30 in the afternoon, and I've still got some work to do, but I wanted to show that I finished my first sock. So not too shabby. We are 3 days in, 1 sock is done. I'm about to start the cuff of the second, and hopefully I will have more progress to show you tomorrow. Chances are I don't vlog again the rest of the day because of the concert that we're going to see tonight. I guess time will tell, but that's my assumption. So I suppose I will see you bright and early in the morning.
And as I take my final bow, was there ever any doubt?
As promised, here we are the next morning with my newly started second sock. I was able to start it yesterday before we left for the concert. I had originally been hoping that maybe I could get to the leg and take it to the concert with me. But at the end of the day, I didn't want to risk them taking my needles away. And security was a little boku bananas at this show for some reason. But that's fine at this point. As you have seen, I have 1 finished sock. I've now started another. I'm a little late getting to it today because I woke up at 6:30 and had over 30 emails from my manager that sent me into a panic. Just asking for status updates, but it is overwhelming, especially when you are drowning just trying to get the work done and now needing to provide all of those status updates as well. And everything is super complex. But anyway, whatever. Here we are this morning. Let's see how far we get on this today and where Wednesday takes us. I am not going to lie. I really thought I would be able to vlog more during this experience, and I think it's coming. It's Thursday morning, and while I'm still working, I don't have as many things going on at night for the rest of the week, and we are visiting my parents for the weekend, so I should get a lot of knitting time. So that said, I have spent some time knitting on my sock today before work. I'm about to, well, I mean, I have been working this whole time, but in a very relaxing way. And yesterday I got up to, where am I? I got up to my little ice cream cone critter here. So I was here, I had started the cuff on Tuesday and got to like here. And so yesterday I knit all of this. And then as of this morning, I've knit into the heel. I'm going to try to finish the heel before I really get into my day and take it from there. That way I'm back into stockinette before I head into my meetings. And I don't get a lot of knitting done in meetings because I think I've said it before, I'm leading most of them. It would be one thing if I could just, show up and exist, but that's not the case. But sometimes I am able to work on them. We'll see. But I'm, I guess, happy with my progress. I'm a little disappointed because I know I could have probably done more, but I am also just really tired with everything going on. But still staying positive. I do think I will be able to start another pair before the weekend. In fact, I think either tonight or tomorrow I might wind the yarn for that, just so I'm ready to go in case I finish these. So stay tuned.
Yeah, it's sir. It's not first time I was at home or on the net. Welcome to our community. Welcome to our family. We're playing on that tablet. Let's KNITS. I call it.
Cadence, the lightest speed in this class will not go over 100, and we're going to have a flat row to warm up, 3 very gentle intervals in a second.
It is now Friday. This week is going, it's going. And we are in a different location today. My mom's health has been declining, as some of you know, what's going on with her there. She did have to go to the ER last night. So Scott and I made our way to my parents' house. And so I sat with my dad at the hospital until they moved her into a room. And we got home around midnight. So it's about 7 a.m. I am exhausted. I'm going to try to work today. Should be properly terrible, but here we are. This is where I was at yesterday on the sock, and I didn't make it very far during the day actually, but my dad called me around 5 o'clock to tell me what was going on. And then we were just at the hospital forever. So this is what I was able to knit down the heel, turn the heel, and down the gusset yesterday when we were there for like 5 hours waiting for them to do something. I started working on it once we realized she was more stable because I couldn't concentrate in the interim, but then this kept me entertained. So here's where we are today. Not sure what updates will be had today. I would like to finish the foot, but a lot of it depends on A, how work goes, how much garbage they rope me into, and B, how things go with my mom. My dad's going to go to the hospital to see her around, I think he said 10, and then figure out if she's staying the weekend or coming home. So we'll figure that out. This has been a crazy vlog and probably pretty short, but we'll see what happens. One of the Sock Week events was a teleparty viewing of Princess Diaries. We all voted on which movie we wanted to watch in the Discord, and Princess Diaries won. So to get our mind off of everything, and once we knew my mom was relatively stable, we sat down and enjoyed the movie, watched some wrestling, and I knit on my socks. My dad hasn't watched wrestling in years, I guess, and so I think he really enjoyed watching kind of the new stuff that's going on and listening to Scott and I talk about it, and honestly, it was a really nice distraction. It is the potentially last morning at my parents' house, and my mom is doing better. We're going to go check on her in a bit at the hospital. But with all of the just sitting down time I have had, I was able to, which one was it? Finish my second sock last night during, oh, I guess I moved this stitch marker, during Princess Diaries. So those are done. I need to get a picture once we get home so I can submit the second one for prizes. So that's really exciting. I really like how they came out. It was really fun to knit, and I'm glad I just did a simple pattern to show off the yarn. But during Princess Diaries, I also started my third sock. So this is the yarn that I wound from Pretty Twisted Yarns, and I forget what it was for. I want to say it was the 2024 Halloween yarn colorway, but I could be totally wrong. And I'm going to use the Vanilla Bean pattern from Crazy Sock Lady. So gonna work on that today. We'll see how far we get. Our whole goal this weekend was to come and help my dad with the house. And that really hasn't happened because we've been helping with my mom. But we will see how the day goes, and then probably head home later, depending. So stay tuned. The last Sock Week event was the Sockathon, which started at 3 o'clock on Saturday and ran until 8 p.m. Because Scott and I were on the road coming back from visiting my mom, I joined a little bit late, but still was able to enjoy some conversation with other people in the Zoom call, but I wound up not staying the entire time in favor of watching some Netflix movies. I'm watching the Amy Bradley cruise documentary where she went missing on her cruise, and Scott played a little bit of Fortnite. So that was nice and relaxing and kind of a nice way to zone out after the events of the past week. It is now Sunday, and we are back home, and I am about to go to the Baker Bears Patron Only podcast. If you don't know, I am the editor for their Knitability magazine and do some reviews and whatnot for them. So I go to their Patron Only show that they have once a month. So I'll be going to that shortly. We are currently back home and kind of on call about my mom, but she is doing significantly better last I heard late last night. So that's really good news. And in the meantime, I'm going to take pictures of my final finished socks to submit through Knitty Natty's form and continue working on my third sock. So yesterday I had cast on a little bit of this during the Princess Diaries and wrestling the other night. And then I was able to knit this much yesterday using Crazy Sock Lady's Vanilla Bean pattern. And I'm really enjoying the way that it's coming out. I got most of this done. We went to the hospital to see my mom, and we were there for a few hours. So I was able to knit that. I would still like to finish this today, but I am not confident that will happen because we do have another concert tonight that we're going to, which I guess I could take this with me if I really wanted to. As long as I can get past the heel, then I should be good. And I can take it with me. It's outdoors, so I don't think they care. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna go take pictures of my finished socks, get those submitted, and keep working on this today. But yeah, happy last day of Sock Week. All right, so it is time to submit my second finished sock, and I'm going to walk you through that process. It's super easy. Fun fact, I did try to record this earlier in the week, and while I shared my screen, I did not record it. So the good news is I have a second sock that I can submit and show you what this all looks like. So first of all, I'm going to go into my email that I have for Sock Week. This one in particular advertises the cast on party, which was a week ago. And I'm going to click on submit finished socks here. All right, so here we are at the form, which closes on Monday, July 28th at 10 a.m. ET. Interesting. So the whole thing is that you need to submit this form for every pair of sock that you finish. So I finished my second sock on Friday, and now I need to submit it into this form. So enter in my email. I'm going to submit a Ravelry link to my finished project. So if you don't have a Ravelry page, which a lot of people don't, there is the option to add a file, which is really nice, but the Ravelry option makes it super easy for those of us who track all of our projects there. So now before submitting, you are going to confirm your eligibility. So I started my sock on or after Sunday, July 20th. Yes. I completed my sock on or before Sunday, July 27th at midnight. My sock is in fingering or sock weight yarn, and my sock is adult sized. All correct. So now we need to fill out our information. So here we go there. Country, we are in the good old US of A. This one is interesting. This one is interesting to me because I've already filled this out like 3 times. Then my Instagram handle. And then if you ever want to find me on Discord, it is the same username that you're used to seeing for me. So whatever. Hit next. And then, so here's where you get your bonus entries. So I did use a Sock Week 2025 yarn on this second sock, and I used Unicorn Sparkle from Super Glow Fiber. I used a Sock Week 2025 project bag. I did. I got the members only ice cream social yarn cup from the Wandering Pearl. That also gets me 2 extra entries. I did use a Sock Week 2025 accessory. I used markers from the Littlest Charm Co. That's that adorable little narwhal with the ice cream cone horn. And then I used a non-Sock Week 2025 item from one of the sponsors. I did not. I did not use an ice cream themed item from a non-sponsor. And I did not knit or crochet an ice cream themed pattern. All of those get you bonus entries. I did not do them. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And that's it. So we'll see if I finish my 3rd sock later today and if I need to go through and update this again.
While deep is fluid, not raspy, not breathy, not desperate. And you could have a conversation. Feel free to play with the numbers. Whatever you chose, you can always adjust it. Again, you should almost feel like you're going to lose the beat, but it shouldn't be so heavy that you can't speak in a complete sentence.
What are we doing?
We're building a shelf for Mommy.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Are you helping build a shelf for Mommy?
yeah.
What's going to go in here?
All her crafting crap.
All her craft? Well, yes.
Stitchy.
Specifically cross stitching.
Little stitchy stuffs.
Yeah, it's so bad that we needed to expand Crafting Overflow to my workout room. All right, there she is. More cross stitching room. More places for Dexter to sleep. And there we have it, my new cross stitch storage amazingness. Now I can actually clean out my craft room as intended.
We did it. We survived Sock Week. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think we were going to for a minute there. But I didn't get as much done as I thought I would for very good reasons. As you saw, my mom ended up in the ER. She's still in the hospital at this point. She's more stabilized than she was, but holy crap, that is the whole thing. But in the meantime, while we wait to figure out everything that's going on there, my knitting has brought me joy. So I did manage to enjoy Sock Week for what it was and the time that I had available. And now I am back home, returning to work, at least for now. We'll see what happens. And I got some stuff done. But before we get into details, it seems only appropriate that as part of my Sock Week vlog, we announce the next winner of Helen Stewart's Handmade Sock Society 6 giveaway that I'm doing on this channel. So let's spin the magic wheel of comments from my last podcast and see who won this month's code. Congratulations to our winner for this episode. Make sure that you email me at the address below so I can send you the code for you to go ahead and redeem your free copy of Handmade Sock Society 6 from either Ravelry or I forget what the other site is, but you can get it pretty much wherever. So just, again, reach out and I will be more than happy to send you your code. All right, so we all know that I finished one pair of socks. The goal of Sock Week is to finish a sock, so I finished 2, which got me 2 entries for prizes, as well as some bonus entries, as you saw, namely because I had the Progress Keeper from Littlest Charm Company. I used exclusive Sock Week yarn from Super Glow Fiber, and I had the Members Only Love in Stitches project bag. So all of that got me 2 extra entries each for, I believe, 7 total entries per sock for a total of 14 entries. And my goal was to, like I said, finish a 3rd sock, which would have gotten me, I think, like 3 or 4 additional entries. That didn't happen. I ran out of steam, and we also had a concert to go to last night, and I was going to take my knitting with me. Even if I did, I wouldn't have finished these socks because it was just too darn hot to knit. It's not even that it's hot, it is muggy. Like the humidity right now here is like 100%. Literally, like when you go outside, it's like walking through soup. All the air in our house is dead. Like you are just sweating and disgusting. So I wouldn't have knit on these anyway, but I did get pretty far. I did some work on them this morning, but not much because I logged into work and everything was exploding. So I've already had to work additional hours, which I said I wouldn't do, but here we are. And I'm still using my Narwhal Ice Cream Cone Progress Keeper, but this is the Pretty Twisted yarn colorway that you saw me wind last week, which, speaking of, I'm going to do a follow-up review on my Kato at Koke yarn winder. I'm trying it with different Swifts, and the Swift that I started with was a wooden one, which apparently they don't recommend using. Like, you can use it and it's not terrible. And I've seen people use it before and it still works. It's not great, but it does still work. But nowhere when you go to purchase it does it say to not have a wooden yarn winder. Anyway, all of that, or a wooden umbrella. I have 2 other Swifts that I'm experimenting on. One I already had, one I purchased. And I'm going to do a follow-up on that because the one that I purchased worked really well. And that's what you saw me wind this yarn on. So I will do a follow-up to that with more information. Anyway, tangent. This is where I am on this sock, and I really love the way that it's working up. I believe this was Pretty Twisted Yarns Halloween colorway from 2024, but I'd have to look it up. And I am using the Crazy Sock Lady's new sock pattern, which is Vanilla Bean. Absolutely loving it. It is easily memorizable. I looked at the pattern once, knew what I had to do, and went on my merry way, which was really nice for having to go to the hospital and sit for a few hours. I didn't want to lug a ton of stuff with me, and I didn't want to have to think. Thinking is terrible right now. We're not doing a lot of it. So it was kind of perfect. And I'm about halfway maybe through the foot. I just finished the gusset decreases, and I'm just knitting around and around and around right now. So I came close-ish to finishing a 3rd sock, and I probably would have if not for everything exploding last week. But you know what? There are more important things in this world, and I'm just happy that I have something that I can hyper-focus on when everything is falling apart. And I really like the way that it's coming out, so no complaints here. overall, I'd say it was another successful sock week. I really enjoy participating in it every year and vlogging my way through. I know that my vlogs this year weren't super in-depth compared to last year, and I feel like that's because there weren't as many events for me to talk about. I was trying to figure out why it felt like I wasn't vlogging nearly as much. And I think it's because at least it felt like there was some type of Sock Week event going on every day last year that I could talk about and show you guys. Whereas this year it was the cast on party, it was a movie, and then it was like a knitting marathon. Whereas last year there were interviews, there were classes, things like that. So the dynamic has changed. I wonder if it's because of the fact that they are traveling, Natalie and Kent are traveling, and maybe that's why. But in general, I don't want to say it was disappointing because it was still fun, and I had a good time engaging with people in the Discord and Instagram and things like that throughout the way. But it was different, especially when you look at, like, definitely go back and watch last year's and you'll see. And I should probably watch last year's just to prove it to myself. But it did feel like last year there was a lot more going on other than just the knitting. So that was a different experience. But I do think it was still a good time. It was still a good time. I finished 2 socks. I got out of my sock knitting slump. I've been so excited to knit on other things. I think I just needed a break. But it was nice to go back to sock knitting for a while. And then once I'm done with this pair of socks, I can start on all of my Christmas gifts, all of my Christmas socks, and the other stuff that I have to knit for Christmas, which is way too much. I got a late start this year just because I, with everything going on, needed comfort projects for myself. And that's a lot of crocheting on blankets, working my way through all my advents from 2024. That type of stuff that brings me joy, that brings me comfort. And even though I like knitting and whatnot for all of my Christmas gifts, the obligation knitting, I shouldn't even call it obligation knitting because I don't feel like I have to do it. I enjoy doing it, but it just wasn't cutting it for me. So I am getting a late start on all of that stuff. That is fine. I suppose stay tuned for future episodes so you can see what I pick up next in terms of gifts. I, in hindsight, should have made this sock Christmas knitting, but I wound the yarn after we were told my mom was going to the ER and to pack up all of our stuff, and I knew I was going to need a distraction. Literally just plucked this yarn off the shelf and wound it. So if I had a minute to think, I would have done something different so that it could be a Christmas gift, but I really like this yarn and I want to keep it. So we'll see what happens. Life is crazy, but we're chugging along over here, and I hope you all are chugging along too. Let me know if you participated in Sock Week and how many socks you were able to make. I can't remember when she's pulling winners, but that's always exciting. I think she usually does it within a week or two. So looking forward to that as well. But I'd love to know if you participated and what you thought of the events this year, since it was a little bit different. Otherwise, I will see you again for the next episode in less than 2 weeks now. I got a little behind with everything going on, but totally fine. I need to focus my attention elsewhere. And hopefully we'll get the follow-up yarn winder review up, as well as maybe a review of some other packages I've been receiving. So with that, I will leave you here and see you in the next one. Bye.